What's your take on, obviously it's been small, but the amount of earnings that we've seen so far?
I think the earnings are coming in strong. I mean, not exceptional, but I would say strong. And we all know this. We had a bar lowering event over the last couple of months going into the reporting. So I love what's coming out so far. We all know that next week obviously is the big week. But the problem we have is there's a little bit of a sentiment overhang going into the U.S. election. I think the willingness to take huge risk, if there's some uncertainty into the future, is very, very low right now. Investors in general keeping their cards close to their vest, and I don't know that we're going to see the outsized moves, even if companies really beat and raise, that we might have seen in previous quarters.
Well, I'm glad you brought us to the election because it's basically all we can talk about at this point. And we've been asking guests all morning, when it's election night, of course, when you're watching your screen, your eyes twitching a little bit, what asset class, what line will you be watching?
I'm going to be watching S&P futures. I think this is going to be the one. What happens in terms of overall equity risk is going to be the most important sentiment indicator. And here I'm going to say something a little controversial.
Go off.
Which is that I think regardless of where the election might be going, I don't know that we're going to know on election night or even the next morning. I suspect there's going to be a little bit more of a more risk-on trade because the fundamentals look pretty good. The macro has stabilized and financial conditions are easing. We have this great backdrop for risk assets, and yet everyone is in this tight holding pattern as they're worried about what the election outcome might be. It's a bit of an excuse, and I suggest that we might see up or up.